All right, we're live. Maybe.
Just a second.
Yeah, it's not on YouTube yet.
Mhm.
At least for me. I got a delay. Refresh. There we go. Hello, ladies.
Hello, hello. Happy Monday.
We kicked Marianne out. Oh, that's pretty cool. Is that your ringtone?
Oh, no, it's when I go to put YouTube on
Oh,
my phone so I can watch. There we go. We're live. Hello, hello. Happy Monday.
yeah. Hi, Margie, Julie, Deb, Toby, Christy,
Christy,
Aaron.
Karen. Hello, Karen.
Yeah, there's some people on your unusable, Julie. This is the unusable. This is ugly. And let me see what else is here. Yeah, here's another one. This is unusable. It's got glitter dots on it, a fishing boat with a net, and fish. I'm never going to use that. Not
And
ever, ever, ever.
And glitter dots?
Yeah. I mean, I love the color. It's teal. So I love the color, and the glitter dots don't bother me. They're like raised little dots. It's not really, and it's kind of cool. If it didn't have the fish in there and the fishing line. So yeah, I've painted over one of those. I had two of them. So I painted one of them.
You talking about that green one with the fisherman on the bottom and the...
Yes.
Yeah, I've got some of those too.
Yeah, Julie goes, is there any paper that's unusable? Yeah, that's unusable.
Yeah.
That's why Marianne gave it to me.
Exactly. I got 20 of them.
So I painted it and put some sewing paper pattern over it. So
cool.
Texture.
So, like, you may not think that this is really ugly paper. It's really not ugly. It's just that I've had it for a long time and can't seem to find a way that I wanted to use it. So I'm going to make it usable. You know, it doesn't
Hi,
have
Dawn. Hello, Glennon.
to be super ugly, just something that you're not using, and if you're not using it, it's just sitting around taking up space, then it's a waste.
Hello, Miss Toby.
Let's see. So we're going to need this over there, and I'm looking for...
Margie said unusable paper is a million flowers and butterflies and lace all over it.
Yeah, if it's got too many flowers, yeah, it's a little much. Oh, Deb got a new retro cabinet for her craft room. Ooh, that's exciting.
Oh, nice. Put a picture in the group, Deb. Those are the best. Love those old pieces of furniture. All right, I don't even know where.
Gigi's. Did you say hi to Gigi? I didn't. I saw her.
I didn't say hi to anybody yet.
Yeah.
I didn't see her.
Yeah, she come in.
Hi, Margie. Hi, Julie. Hey, Christy. Hi, Toby.
Yep, there's Gigi.
I know Toby's still feeling really awful. I'm surprised you're even here, but thanks for joining us, Toby. You just lay back and listen and get better. Hey, Deb. Let's see. Hi, Karen. Hi, Gigi. Uh-oh.
I remember those days, Karen. My boys didn't do lotion. They did a stick deodorant.
Hi, Laura. 5-3 sun lotion out of the bottle. Oh, no. Jello, Laura. I'm busy at work. Oh, that cool, Deb. I would love to see a picture of it.
Even if it's new and just has that retro look, Deb.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah, it's still, yeah.
I still am drawn to those cabinets. So
I am too.
Every time I see them, but I don't have room for them, so I'm like, oh.
Exactly. I have no room, nowhere to put them, but yeah. So on Saturday we went to a little town that was having a Memorial Day thing that they do every year, Heritage Days, and the entire town is on the National Historic Register. Every building is more than 100 years old. And it's just a really cool little town. What's even better is that almost everybody that lives there is an artist. So that is just super cool. So it's a really artsy town. So we did a tour of a bunch of the houses, like 12 of the houses, were old houses that they had opened up to the public to be able to tour through and see. And there were so many really cool pieces of furniture that were literally more than 100 years old. And stupid me, I didn't even take pictures of them. I've got like one that my sister took and sent to me because she was with me. But I didn't even, I'm just like, oh, I love this piece of furniture. Did I take a picture? No.
Hi,
But
Linda.
yeah, those really old cabinets. They're so cool. Hi, Linda. Okay, so today we are going to take ugly / unusable pieces of paper. It can be scrapbook paper or cardstock, doesn't matter. It works with both. I do it with both. And we're going to make it usable. Just show you some options of ways to be able to use paper that's, I've got some paper that's just been sitting here literally for years that I haven't used. And so that I call unusable, even if it's not, it's just is extremely ugly. It's unusable to me if I'm not using it and it's just sitting there. So the first thing I'm going to do is get me some paper ready that we're going to collage on it. And I like to tear that paper. These are pages from an old Anne of Green Gables. And so they have a nice, they're old and they have a nice yellow brown look to them already.
Margie walked into the bathroom when Sarah was little and found shampoo on everything.
And then you try to wash it off and it just keeps sudsing up more and more. Oh, that's awful. That is awful. Now, I do like, when I collage these on, I like to have just the text. I don't want all that extra white space. I think it gives it a different look. And so that's why I'm going to tear these as such. Here's one that I did last night. It's just dried. So I will usually press these because, you know, they get all that glue on them. And so they're stiff, but the glue makes them all warp and do weird things. So this is just with the text. And I'll frequently use books and music pages. Sometimes I do all of one, sometimes all of the other. Here's one where I did music pages as the back, and then I've started decorating it. So books and music, or sometimes I mix them together. Sometimes when I do the book pages, I will use all of one book, so it's got a very similar look all the way through. Other times I like to use different books like this, which would be very white compared to this, so that there's maybe 2 or 3 or 4 different looks throughout throughout the thing. You know, that's going to be, it's going to be variations of color, maybe even texture of the paper.
He has 2 screens up. He's going to switch from screen to screen during the live.
I am just trying to confuse you.
Hi, April.
Hey, April, how are you? So this is how I prepare these papers for this. I just look at which side has the bigger paragraphs because I'm basically tearing it off in paragraphs so that I get the least amount of white space. And then I tear the end. And this is great paper because it's really old and yellowed. So I don't know, I might even keep those and just collage them on something because it's a good look paper. I will keep this. It says Anne of Green Gables and the numbers are always useful. I'll do 2 pages here.
Karen wants to know when the subscription box will start.
I just wanted to put out there to see if anybody's interested. If I do it, I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I've got a bunch of ideas, but I thought, well, I better ask if anybody's even interested in that. So I love the feedback that's already there, and I would love even more feedback of what you'd like to see in a subscription box.
What would the price point be?
That has not been determined yet. There might even be 2, a lower price point and a higher price point. And the higher one would include all the same things. It would just have additional things in it. So not sure about that yet.
And then shipping.
And shipping would, see, all that has to be worked out. So it depends on, depending where the price point is. If I can work the shipping in with it, I think that's awesome. It's easy for people to know, you know, shipping's included.
Christy, to be determined.
A lot of things are to be determined. This was just a query out there to see if there was interest, if I should even move forward with it.
How many subscribers would you have to do to have it going?
And
would you limit it?
Yes. Yes, it will be a limited amount. So first in to get it gets in, and then every couple of months there might be more seats open. So what I would do is create, like you could enter your email to be on a wait list. Say we started with 40 or 50, whatever it is. And then if those are sold and some become available, we're ready to increase it. I would increase it strategically because I would want it to flow smoothly. So say in a month or two, then we open up another 10 spots or another 25 and go, 50 to 75. Then the wait list comes first. So those who've already signed up on a wait list with their email would then get an email saying spots are opened. They'll be open until such and such date. First in, get some.
Karen Legg and Christy Meter want to be put on the list already.
Okay, I need to set up where, and I'll put it out to the group first, where you can go in and put your email in for the wait list. I love the feedback, the ideas that you guys have. And so any more thoughts that you have on that?
Julie wants to know if it would be themed or random.
Maybe both. Maybe some of both. Maybe certain times of the year would be theme. Maybe some times of the year would be random. I like the theme. One of the issues right now, as everybody knows, is being able to get supply. You might order something 3-4 months in advance and ships might be sitting there, not able to get into dock and get unloaded. So something like this, I typically work at least 6 months ahead. So I'd probably work 6 months to a year ahead, hoping to never have an issue where that supply is, not there in time. But it happens. It's since COVID, it's happened a lot.
Marcia said Alice or cat themed. Karen said it's like getting a mystery box. She loves the idea.
And sometimes, yeah, it always would be a mystery box because you don't know what's in it, except that it's always going to be art, craft, related type things. It's not a t-shirt box or, a candle box, or exactly what it is in that regard. But sometimes, and before I start the subscription box, I might do a mystery box with a challenge attached to it. One of the things I do feel like I need to finish selling a lot of the things that are in stock before I move to that, because I don't want to add too much to keep on my plate. If I do it, I have to do it well. In the regard of customer service. So I don't want so many things going that I can't keep up with them and keep up with you guys. I don't want to let the lives go, the things that we do together. That's just so much fun.
Julie said Tabby Chic Vintage.
Okay.
Laura said, let me go back. It was something about Alice or cat theme. Oh, nope. She said, where to go? Oh, maybe all new Alice featuring a cat girl.
Ooh, that's an idea.
Christy said if it comes from Marianne, it's going to be wonderful.
Aw, thank you, Christy. Appreciate the confidence.
Karen said a mystery box challenge would be a lot of fun. Count her in.
Okay.
She said yes, yes, yes.
I never put anything in there that I wouldn't use myself. And so I think that's what Christy's saying, is if it's not a supply that I would buy and use myself, I'm not going to sell it to you. So what are your thoughts about, here's one option, that there's two price points on the box, and the one is lower, and then the second one being higher might always include one of the newest Stamperia, some different pieces from the collection of the newest Stamperia collection. Because if they're coming out with them once a quarter, and it was a monthly box, and they always come out with 3 or 4. So if they come out with, say they come out with 3, and that's 1 per month for the quarter, and then they've come out with new ones. And that kind of spaces out being able to purchase them. You're always going to get some new and cool Stamperia or Minte, because they're doing the same thing. It seems like about every quarter they're coming out with new ones.
Glenna says it depends on shipping. Love the challenge idea.
Okay. Yeah, for those out of the country, that's a huge deal, and I'm working on that as well. And it might even include, like, maybe this kit or this box is a theme, and so included in it is a digital download that I created that would go with that theme. So then you would get the box, and inside it you would have a code to go to Etsy and download that digital for free. Something like that. That probably wouldn't be every month, but sometimes.
Christy wants to know if they could choose both boxes. Not sure if she could afford that, but she could try.
Well, okay, so here's how it would work, is that the first box would also be in the second box. So say all boxes would have, let's just say it's a $40 box. All boxes would have the same thing in them. But then there's a bump up so that instead of $40, if it's, I don't know, just throwing it out there, say it's $70. And in the 70, you get all of the $40 box plus the newest Stamperia or Minte or something like that. So not sure you'd want to get both, because you would be duplicating all of the supplies.
Margie said it would be a lot quicker and easier to just give your ugly paper to someone who likes it. Just saying.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't get to hang out with you while I'm doing this. And I might already have enough torn. I just, wasn't sure and wanted to make sure I've got a few. I'll finish this page and then we'll start going.
She always goes overboard, ladies.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's for you guys. I don't go overboard in everything. It's just for you guys. I'm sorry.
Christy said, thank you for explaining.
That made more sense then. So you probably wouldn't want both boxes, Christy.
Margie loves to tease us. Oh, she said she loves teasing you, Marianne, not just me.
Well, the day she stops teasing, it's the day I'll worry. I'll worry that she doesn't love me anymore.
Margie and Laura are our little disher outers.
Yeah, but can they take it?
Girls. Toby, here's an idea from Toby. She said, do a random drawing where everybody puts their names in the hat that wants it, and then pick 10 people that get 10 boxes.
Ah, that's an idea.
A lottery. Woo!
Yeah.
I suck at those. I won't be getting any of those.
So when I talked about a mystery box, doing that fairly soon, my thought was a lot of the things that you guys that you mentioned in my question up there, a lot of those things were things that I do have in stock. And so I've been thinking about putting together a mystery box, all the same price, all of the same value, and all very comparable. I mean, not comparable in value, but like they all might include an old book. But of course, the books are going to be different because I don't have 50 of the same old book. They wouldn't be very valuable if I did. So, but yeah, so something like that. Everybody gets an old, a very old book, and everybody gets one of these and a one of those, and that kind of thing. And then I'd put a letter in it telling you what the challenge is to go with the mystery box. I think that would be a ton of fun, and seeing what everybody comes up with the challenge. But there'd be enough in it that you do something for the challenge, and you're going to have plenty of supplies for doing other things as well. So as I start to put these down, I want you to notice when I go to the edges, I try to go just a hair over, because sometimes it slides or shrinks back, and you definitely want to make sure the edge is covered, and I can trim what's gone over super easily. So as I am collaging them down, I don't want them all going the same direction. And so I'm not going to just do them next to each other. I'll start with some large ones, and you typically put a large one in a corner and a large one maybe this corner, but this one I'm going to have on its side. So I want things going all different directions. So what do we use this for? Why are we doing this anyway? Why not just give away the paper or throw it away or whatever? So once I've collaged this base down, like the one that I just showed you, they make awesome tag blanks. So the workshop that we had on the tags, where we made or took tag blanks, and then we made some tag bases. Go ahead, Debbie.
Julie says, what if you rolled a liquid gesso over the paper white, or I don't know what, with the paper white? I'm not sure.
So we're going to do more than one technique today, Julie, and I think you're jumping ahead to the second technique. So don't you worry, we're going to get there.
Okay, so, well, she had an idea here. She said, let it dry, then roll a different color paint, letting it dry in between the decoupage napkin images on that. Just an idea.
Yep. Great idea.
To know what you're using as your liquid.
So that is part of our second idea, Julie. Great minds. So yeah, we're getting there. We're going to spend the first half working with this, and then the second half on the second one. So you can use any liquid glue for this. I would not recommend double stick tape for this type of for any collaging really. But I am using, I'll hold it up here. It's the Stamperia Collage Gel. I've come to really, really like this. It comes in the tub. It also comes in a tiny little spout here. I use that one too if I just need to put down, just get under one edge or put down just a couple of pieces. I'll put that down, smear it around a little with this, and then put my piece down so I don't have this great big mess. But I also have a jar of tacky glue that I've added water to that works amazingly well. This is a glossy paper, so I did run the sandpaper over it just a little bit to try to rough it up, just so it'll hold. I don't know that it needs it, but the ones I've done, I don't think I've ever grabbed a glossy one before. It's always, just some paper that I'm not using. But because it's glossy, I thought I will try running that over, and just to make sure that it's got some tooth there. So now that I've got kind of 4 large ones in 4 corners, I'm going to just take random pieces and put them, I never put one the same direction as the one that it's going next to. And that's really my only criteria, is it's not the same direction as the one it's next to. And I will overlap them. That just is not that it really matters, but that isn't, whole end is not torn off. Not the, well, oh yeah, it's I often overlap them. That it's much better than just putting them up side by side, because then you get that true, random collage look that we like. Let's see here. Let's do this one over here. And I don't even necessarily line them up like that one. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge. I'll put something else over there, but I do overlap that. And when you get the closer and closer you get to the center of being done, the more you will need to overlap in order to cover a space. So like that one, oh, that's not quite long enough. Let me see if there's a longer one that'll fit, so I don't have to put a teeny tiny. None of them do. All right, that's okay. That just will show how. Okay, I'm going to overlap both of those as I put that down. And then I'll take one that is thinner to go over here. Darn, it's going the same direction as that one. I didn't look at that. So we'll take care of that by, and for a shorter one, running one this way. That kind of goes over the top of both of those and disrupts that pattern of going the same. And it's not even as visible when you do like different colors. If I had some whiter paper, you don't notice that as much because you have the differences of color. It kind of adds texture and depth. Here's another big one. Let's do a big one right in the center because this is a bigger page, 12 by 12. You want it to be straight. So, okay, so what I will do, what do I do with this? I know you're thinking that. We talked about tag bases or tag blanks and then turning them into tag bases with just, a little bit of something done on it. Maybe you're going to do a little bit of stenciling over it, but you want to wait to really decorate it until you know how you're going to use it. The other thing to do is to continue, once you've got this collage base down, to continue to collage on top of it and turn it into a collage. Now, I will say that I don't really always know what I'm going to do with it when I'm doing this. And you'll see why, because unless I'm just doing this, and I know I'm going to stop here because these are for tag blanks. But as far as continuing on, there are a couple of different things that I like to do, and I don't know until I'm doing that which direction it's going. So one thing I will do is to continue collaging on top of it, like this one. I did, haven't ironed it, but I did all music paper instead of book paper, and then I started with these botanicals illustrations on there, and I'm not finished with that. I do have one I've finished it, but it's across the room. Then I will go ahead and put some other things that just bring out a little bit of color, and if it's okay, I'll use it as a collage and cut it up and use it. If I really, really like it, it becomes a master board. So that's why I don't always know. Hey, KK. That's the reason I don't always know when I'm doing it, what it's going to be, because if I really like it, it'll be a master board. If not, it's just a collage that I'm going to cut up. So we did a whole workshop on collaging techniques and what is the difference between a collage and a master board. I know there's a lot of new people since we did that, even though that's only been a few months since we did it. So if you have interest, go back and watch that one. It was a Monday Jumpstart, and I think it's called Collaging Techniques. But yeah, that's we got really into depth. Doesn't seem like any big deal, but then when you get doing it, we all have lots of questions about different things. So we got really into depth on collaging and collaging techniques, and also and collaging on different things. And also then what is the difference in a collage and a masterboard? So for anybody who is new and is not sure about that and just would like to know in general, the difference in a collage and a masterboard. Anything that you collage like this, and even if I keep adding onto it, is a collage. If I'm going to, or if I cut it up and use it, or I'm going to cut it up and use it, it's a collage. It's just a collage.
Julia,
Go ahead.
Julia Stamperia collage medium.
Yes, it is Stamperia Collage Gel. Really, really like it. For those who really like the Tim Holtz Distress Collage Medium, I really like that as well. I love this. I love, love, love this. This is it's very comparable in the quality and the way it works. And I do like it a lot. Okay, so if I cut it up or I intend to just cut it up and use it, it's a collage. If I get to, and see, you may not know until almost the end, but if you get the collage done and you really like it enough that you would like to use it over and over again and wish you had more of that one, then you want to scan it in, and it is now a masterboard. So some of you probably in your life worked for a company back in the day where we had copy machines, and you would keep a master in the drawer. And the boss would say, get the master for blah, 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 and make 30 copies of it. Okay. That master never gets used. That master stays in the drawer and is just copied so the copies can be used. That's what a masterboard is. If
Now
this
you're age.
Oh, I know.
They don't do that anymore.
If this in the end is not going to be, if this in the end is something that I want to use over and over, maybe even share with my friends and let them use it too, and that becomes a masterboard, then this one, the original one, will never get used. It will stay in my file as the master, and you can either make copies of it or you can scan it in if you have that ability and print it over and over again. So that ability to print it over and over again is what makes this a masterboard. Does that make perfect sense as to the difference in? I struggled with that. I kept hearing people say masterboard, but yet they would use it, or they would say collage, but they did this with it. And I think there's a lot of confusion out there on what is a collage and what is a masterboard. So it really helped me to sit down, figure it out, and make a definition that made sense, something that I could relate it to.
Julie wants to know if it dries matte, semi-matte, or glossy.
It dries matte. This is one I did last night. Haven't pressed it or anything. This was an ugly orange paper. I can even see, I might put a couple more pieces over because I can see some dark there. It was an ugly paper. But yeah, it dries totally matte. This is exactly how it dried, except the spot that I just dripped on it that's now glossy. All right, let's see. We are getting down to the end. When you get to the end, that's where you end up covering more up just by having to layer. You could tear up the pieces of paper, but they're a good size. They're a good size, and I don't really want them any smaller. And covering, layering it over the edges of, or partially over another one, just gives it more stability. So it's not a problem. And it makes, when we buy paper that's all collaged like that, even scrapbook paper, it's never collaged side by side. There's always overlap, and you can see part of this one and part of that one, and that's what gives it that cool look. And this is how you create it on your own for doing that. So let's see if I've got something wide enough to cover all of that. May not, may have to do it in two.
Julie said she loves the mat.
Loves what?
The mat.
Like this thing underneath it?
The matte finish.
Oh, the matte finish. Sorry. Yes, I do too, Julie. I do too, because then it leaves the option open for you, whether you want to put something glossy on it or something matte. You aren't limited with what you can do with it. I totally agree. Let's see. I'm looking for... And when you do this, you want to make sure I'm covering this spot, but I'm going over both of these pieces of paper here. So you want to make sure there's some medium on both of those pieces of paper. So if you end up with bubbles, if you get lots of bubbles on your collage like this, and when it dries, you're like, why do I have all these bubbles? It's because when you overlap this paper on top of that one, there wasn't medium underneath this one on top of that one. Maybe you only put medium on the green part, on the paper. But the piece you put down was longer than that. If there's not medium under it, it's going to dry with a big bubble there. And that's kind of frustrating sometimes. So just make sure you get enough medium underneath it.
Candy,
so if I'm going to...
That looks awesome.
What?
Julie said that looks awesome.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you, Julie. Candy's going to do a couple of different techniques. When we go to our second one.
Did it on this one too.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Kind of, sort of.
We're going to do kind of sort of the same thing, but there's different directions you can go with it. So in the interest of time, she'll take it one way. I'll take it another way.
I combined it with this one.
Oh, way to go. Okay. I don't like that one had to be in the same direction as that one. So I'm just going to put this one right up well over the top of both of them. So it gets something going the opposite direction. And I don't like that now these two had to go the same direction. So I'm just going to take a little something right here and make it go the opposite direction so that it breaks up. I don't want it to look like one big old book page on there. I want it to be parts and pieces. So I tore up just the right amount. I'm completely out of anything large or semi-large. Now I'm just down to little pieces. So we'll get the little pieces in here. That's about the biggest piece I have left right there that I just put down. And we'll do this right up the middle to break those up and cover that last piece of green. All right, and now we've got this one right here. Let's see if there's anything kind of sort of big down here. Not really. All right, so we've got things going all different directions. We'll put that one upside down. And let's do this one that direction.
Margie said we have all day.
Cool.
Laura says, I don't know. I need to take periodic breaks to eat and sleep.
Well,
okay, so
grab your food.
I have this notion. We should all write to Congress and change the days to be a 36-hour day, and we only need 6 hours of sleep, 30 hours to craft.
That's right. I agree with you. I'm on board. I'll be the first signature. Okay, so here's a 12 by 12 piece of ugly paper or unusable paper for me that is now completely covered in book page. Random, although I'm seeing, even though it's turned the different direction, it still looks very long and straight there like a page. So I'm going to put a little piece over the top of that just to break that up. There we go.
Okay, yesterday Laura spent most of the day trying pretty much every metallic medium she has.
Ah,
Margie may have called her a party pooper, maybe. Um, Toby wants to know, Candy, what is your base?
What do you mean? My base was the ugly paper.
was a piece of ugly paper. Yeah,
And then I
well,
just put
yeah.
book pages on it, and then I put some pattern paper, the sewing pattern paper, in a couple spots and wrinkled it
Mm-hmm.
because I like some texture for when I cut this up.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So let's see, where are we on time? Okay, we have time. So now we've got the book page, and that's what Candy did. She put book page, but if you know you're going to do a bunch of things under it, you might put down just whole book pages. It depends. But what I will do, you will probably see more of it. So I went ahead and used the torn pages. So now we want to do something on top of that. And now we're headed towards either it will be a collage or a masterboard. I don't know which until I see how it turns out, how much I like it. Let's see. I might have napkin scraps close by.
Hello, Virginie. She came in. She missed the
Hi,
beginning.
Virginie. Oh, cool. Yes, I just sent her a message and answered her question.
it was just regular weight scrapbook paper. Mine was, and then
This one is a very light cardstock. Candy's was
regular weight
paper. Mm-hmm. In fact, all the ones I've done to this point have always been paper. It seems like it's the paper that ends up being that way for me, not so much the cardstock.
And I didn't want to get out my napkins, so I got out sewing paper.
I think I have, okay, right here, I've got some rice paper pieces. Things
Hi,
like
Virginia.
Virginie? Is that how you say it? Virginie?
Oh, Virginia, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Far away, it's hard to read sometimes.
I have rice paper scraps in here, and I think there's probably some napkins in here as well. Go ahead.
Laura said that she usually uses a couple of different books, so she gets different.
Yeah, I use like 1, 2, 3, 4,
She
5.
wasn't listening at the beginning, was she?
Yeah, I use these. I have like 9 books in here, different
I
books.
love harassing Laura. Yeah, as I said, sometimes I use different pages so that I have different colors. That's a really nice variety. It gives you a variety of depth and of texture even. Okay, so I've got a few more scraps of this. It's a napkin that looks an awful lot like honeycomb. I think I'm going to use that up on this, since this is a large one. That's an edge, so I'm going to put that on an edge for sure. So all I do is make sure it's wet underneath it, put it down, and then go over the top of it to make it stay down. You definitely don't want to put it down on dry. Well, you can put it down on dry if you have enough collage medium on top to, go through if it's something thin like this. But to get the best adherence, whatever you want to call it, to get the best adherence, if your paper is wet before you set it down, and then once you go over the top of it to collage it on, it's now wet on top as well. And so dry, because you can get air bubbles, those air pockets in napkins and rice paper too. And
Toby,
I don't like
sewing paper is old patterns, like patterns you used to use for sewing.
Oh,
Yeah. This.
You can get them at
there you go.
a lot.
And I just ripped it up.
I have a whole bin of old patterns like that. We brought them out. We were doing a bunch of things with them a couple of years ago, and we brought them out at a couple of sales because everybody needed them, and I haven't brought them out in a very, very long time.
I gave away hundreds of patterns.
Yeah, wow. Probably not something that I would put in a subscription box because it's something that many, many people already have. So the goal is to try to get things that you don't have.
You use it for wrapping paper to wrap the stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea because
Use
then
some
it
wrapping
gets to-
paper. Use some wrapping paper, some of that, and some of the tissue
as the
paper.
cushion in the box.
So your different things, yeah.
As the cushion in the box. So then, well, yeah, you know that I would try to make everything in there usable for your art, whether it's the brown paper or that's a great idea with the dress patterns or pattern paper. I like that. I like that idea.
It doesn't take up too much space. Doesn't add a lot of
No,
weight.
but some things need to be protected a little bit, and I don't want things flying around boxes. So, something that cushions or takes up the space.
Well,
I
got one box somebody did that in, and I thought that's really cool because I have so much brown paper from Amazon. I don't need brown paper.
need that, but yeah, you can always use more pattern paper or
I don't have to buy
napkins, tissue paper, things like that. Yeah, tissue paper is awesome,
especially the pretty tissue paper that you don't really find locally. That
you have a hard time finding it locally.
We've had. I won't say that there's not some
pattern,
but it's not
kind of a thing.
Like the one I used the other day with the hummingbirds. I haven't seen that here.
Oh,
now, I'm sure they might have it, but when I go to the store, they're either out of it or whatever. Usually they have all the colors, and I'm like, I don't want any more color. I got so many
colors. You want some patterns, some pretty patterns.
Pretty patterns, yeah. Different patterns. I'd love to get a map pattern.
Oh, that would be cool.
Paper.
I don't think I've ever seen that on tissue paper.
I haven't either, but I keep looking.
Rice paper, yes.
Yeah, right. But I want tissue paper because it's cheaper.
Tissue paper, yeah.
Yeah.
They do work differently.
Yeah. Julie said she works from the inside out.
When you put down a piece, yes. I was just trying to make sure.
I like to add bits of napkins.
That my edge went all the way up to the edge there, so I wouldn't have a straight edge somewhere in the middle. So this is a napkin. It's a napkin that it had a monogram on one side and then the honeycomb. And because this is a 12 by 12, it's pretty large. I'm putting large pieces on here. Don't always use quite such large pieces, but I'm going to try it because it is a big 12 by 12. Seems like a lot of the ugly paper I end up using is the 8.5 by 11. Not sure why.
Margie said it's a good way to get rid of green packing paper.
Yeah, I have a whole roll of that stuff. Not the packing paper, it's the thinner one. It's the what do they call it? You usually get it you can get it at Lowe's sometimes. They use it to cover.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, sometimes they'll have it. Sometimes the ones at Lowe's is thicker though. Okay. I wanted the thinner stuff, so I ordered it. Because my Hobby Lobby was out of it.
Huh.
And I needed it for a project I was doing. Oh, I was making a faux leather cover and I needed it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I used.
Is it interest in learning how to make faux leather, like a faux leather cover for a book? That's been on my list forever, and I just haven't done it. I haven't asked if anybody was interested, but I would like to do it. I haven't done it in a while, probably almost 2 years. So if anybody's interested in learning, we can do it as a Monday Jumpstart instead of just me just doing it because I want it on my own. Okay. Oh, we got a little bit of gap down here. Put some down here. Let's see. I am trying to use up this whole napkin because these bits and pieces are still floating around. Okay. Well, that overlapped more than I wanted it to, but that's okay. It'll end up getting cut up. I might even put something right over that covers it, so no big deal. All right, this is all I have left, I think, from this napkin. Where can I could put one up there, up top. Up top. Could probably put them both up there, but let's get that one. So yeah, when you're putting down napkin or rice paper or tissue paper that is kind of hard to do, I try to keep one hand not sticky so it can grab hold of it and help me. And then let's see, I don't have a corner, so I'm going to tear off one of those sides. As Julie mentioned, when you put the piece down, of course, you're going to get it wet with your collage medium. When you put the piece down, I kind of started at these edges up here because it's on the edge. I wanted to make sure that the edge stayed on the edge. But otherwise, when you put the piece down, go to the middle of it, and you're going to go from the middle out each direction. Oh, that one was just torn. So if you start collaging it down on the edge, you'll get to the middle and you could have a big old lump, which is fine if you want the crinkles. This one I put down smoothly. When I do dress paper or pattern paper, I usually will completely crinkle it up in my hands first, like this, get it as tight of crinkles as I can. And then when I open it up and tear it and put it down, I leave those crinkles together. It makes for a really cool look when it dries, and then you can run over it. Okay, so now we've got some honeycomb on there. So we probably need some bees and birds, right? So let me look through. I want to set this up on top of it and get it all gooey, but I'm going to look through this that has scraps of napkins and rice paper and see if I can find some bees, birds, maybe butterflies, hummingbirds, things like that. Oh, maybe even some flowers. If I want to add a little bit of color, I could tear this one up. It's a little bit left there. Okay, that might be pretty. Depending on what color direction I want to go, there's some pink and green, but I wouldn't put the pink and green with the orange and white. So let's continue and see what else we can find. Hello, KK. Is that KK? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
KK or CK? It's KK. Meow.
Where's that 2-year-old?
So cute. Oh. So if anybody did not see the 12-minute video last Thursday that was right before our mass make, where Debbie showed the folio that she made, it's gorgeous. You should go watch that. It is absolutely gorgeous. And maybe the best part about it is that she has offered to give that folio to someone in helping us to get Happy Paper People Facebook group and YouTube channel to 1,000 people, 1,000 subscribers here. She's offered to give that folio away. So there is a post pinned at the top of the group page on Facebook that gives all the details on that. But basically, if you invite and have join, they need to join both Facebook and YouTube. We've had a ton of new people come into Facebook. We need to make sure that they also subscribe to YouTube. Otherwise, only half of the challenge is met. I don't want anybody to miss out on the drawing because of that. But 12, we have from now till June 25th, and that would need to be by morning of June 25th so that we could get them calculated. And on the night of June 25th, which is our Saturday Night Live, we will draw and give away that gorgeous folio that Debbie made. It is so, so pretty. She used Stamperia Passions paper. It is absolutely gorgeous. So you don't want to miss out on that. And at the same time, even if you have a few join, Laura has offered to send out packs of cards, so playing cards, game cards, different things like that. She's putting packs of those together and sending those out to anybody who invites someone to join, and they join both the Facebook group and YouTube. So by participating, you will get something automatically.
Virginia said the yellow flowers look good. And the kitties are all here. Yes, they are.
Yellow flowers. Is Candy doing yellow flowers?
No.
The yellow
Oh.
flower you had on that napkin right there
Oh.
next to you.
Are you talking about this or the black one? I'm tearing up the bits and pieces of this black one. I think I'm going to use this one. So there's another tip. So this is only parts and pieces. However, they've been cut with scissors or something. So I am tearing to make a torn edge. When you collage down rice paper or napkins, it will always blend in better if you have a torn edge. If you have a cut edge, and like the edge of the napkin right here, if you have a cut edge, when you collage it down, you're going to have a straight line, an exact line where it ends, that it just doesn't seem to flow very well. So if you tear it just so it's a torn edge, not cut straight, and you put this down, then all of the torn edges blend. Because the fibers are not all the exact same length, the fibers will blend in, and I think you will love the look a whole lot more.
Virginia said the first one.
This one. Those are pretty yellow flowers, aren't they? That blue stripe. I was debating between the two of those. I think I'm going to do this one, but these are all hummingbirds. And then I'm going to have to find some bees.
Laura said no one signed up for her cards yet.
What? Okay, there's a post pinned up to the top that also says that Laura is sending out cards. And all you have to do is invite someone. They join the group, they join YouTube, and then you need to go to that post and write a comment. That's all. Write a comment and just say, I invited so-and-so. When you put their name, it will tag them, and Laura will send out the card pack to you. And for everybody who's new, you may want to, it's your choice, but you may want to go also pinned up there. We have all the important posts pinned at the top, the things that are important for, for the members. There's a rack list. So that's pinned up to the top. You could go to that rack list and get your name and address on there. So somebody would be able to find your address to send you something if they wanted to.
And new members can invite people.
Yes. Thank you. Just because you're new doesn't mean you can't get in on that challenge. You might have been one of the 70 that came in the last 3 days. And you have the option, because this challenge just started on Saturday. So you can go invite whoever you want. We would highly request that you invite amazing people, because this is truly one of the most amazing groups of people you will ever find. And it has stayed that way because they continue to invite amazing people like themselves. So we'd love it if you invite more friendly, happy people who love paper, book art of any kind, mixed media, and just keep amazing people in the group. But yeah, go ahead, and the easiest way to do that is to go into membership. Well, actually, if you're on your phone and you go to Happy Paper People Facebook group, it's the private group, then right at the top, underneath the group header, you can see a row of pictures. That's all the people in the group. I wasn't paying attention, and I did not mean to put those in a square like that. Oh. And there should be a button right there by all the pictures that says invite. If you just click on that button, it will then bring up a list of all your YouTube contacts. Your Facebook contacts. And you can go through the list and choose to invite anybody that you want to invite. So that's the way to use that. It's a whole lot easier than having to type out a message to people, and that just takes a long time. And I know everybody doesn't have a ton of time. Maybe some people do and would like to do that, but some people don't want to give up their crafting time to do that. So I understand it.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. So go ahead and invite whoever you want to and get in on that challenge. It just started, so it is definitely not too late. And if you invite them through that link, like I said, it's a whole lot easier. The other thing for anybody who is new and is not yet aware, the Facebook group is private, and you know that. But let me, before I go on, if you invite people into that group, by the fact that they're getting an invitation into the group, they won't even have to answer the questions. They'll be admitted immediately. Some of you were probably invited and had that as well. I believe it's still that way. If that changes, if somebody finds out that changes, let me know. But because, say somebody invites you into the group that says, well, we already know we want you in our group, so you don't have to go through the approval process. They're already admitted into the group, so they don't even need to answer the questions, which is awesome. Okay, so we have the private Facebook group. That's where we all participate in posting pictures. We want you to post pictures of everything and anything you do. It doesn't have to be just something that we did in a live or a challenge. We love seeing pictures of what you're working on today. Maybe it's something for another group. Maybe it's you're making a book or a journal for somebody, whatever it is. We love seeing all those pictures. They're so inspirational. And that's the thing, is the things that everybody posts inspire each other. So please do post, and know that you will never, the entire time this group has been around, I have never, ever, ever seen a negative response to someone's post. Never any, criticism or condemnation, or no negative response in any way. And I know that I have been in other groups where I have seen that happen. And man, I know that I do know people personally who are in our group who would never post again because of the response that, somebody said in comments. So you never get that here. It just doesn't happen. Everybody is so caring and loving and supportive. It's really awesome. And I will say, the entire time this group has been around, I can only think of one person who came in and didn't fit. They weren't the quality of people that you all are, just didn't fit in. And so didn't stay.
I wore her down, ladies.
Didn't stay in the group very long because she just didn't fit. And that's why I can so confidently say that everybody in here is amazing, because the quality of people that stay, if someone isn't that quality of person, they weed themselves out because they don't fit. And we want everybody to be that quality. We don't want people to be weeding themselves out because they don't fit. We just want them to fit and be awesome. But, every now and then there's a sourpuss or whatever you want to call them. And that's okay. That's okay. But we don't detract them.
He was invited and didn't have to answer any questions.
Who?
Virginia.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so it is still working that way.
He's in India.
Oh, wow.
I think that's Dad.
That's awesome, Virginia. We've got people all over the world, but you may be our first. Well, we have somebody else in India. She's had some stuff going on in her family, and so she hasn't been very active for a while. But that's awesome. We love people in all different countries because you bring all different kinds of things that you've been exposed to and give new ideas.
So we're, Marianne, we're an hour in. I didn't know when you wanted to change and go to
thank you. Yeah, now, okay, so I'm going to let this dry, and at this point, I'm not liking it that much. I'm really not. So I'll continue doing something on it later to see if I can like it more. I liked it until I started putting the napkin on it, honestly.
Hi, Deb. Deb's crafting room came in.
Oh, hey, Deb.
She was here earlier.
I thought Deb was already here. I said hi to Deb.
Yeah.
But maybe she had to leave and then came back. So, yeah, I'm not liking this all that much. I will continue working on it later. And heck, if it means just covering it all over with book page again or parts of it, no biggie. We can do that too. Let me grab a baby wipe. Okay, so now we are going to switch and do a second technique, an entirely different technique. When I go to pull one baby wipe out, two always come out. I don't understand that.
Because I know you're going to need it.
So it is just me. All right. So let's do this. And I'll take that baby wipe with me because I just might need it. All righty. Okay, so for this technique, I actually pulled out two pieces of paper because, I didn't get the, I started to. All right, first thing we're going to do is cover the paper with gesso. Now, you could use gesso. You could, is that a little too bright? Is that better, or does that just get more shadows? That was pretty shadowy. You can use a gesso. You could use a primer. You could use white paint. Now, white paint is going to be the cheapest, but it's also going to take the longest to dry. So if you have a bunch of white paint, I would use that up. Today, I'm going to use primer because I do want it to dry fast, so we don't have to wait on it. And because this primer is almost on, getting really low, and so I want to try to use it up. So first thing we're going to do, I have two pieces here. So I'm going to coat the first one, and then I'm going to coat the second one. Then I finish the second one. The first one should be dry. In fact, one is paper, one is cardstock. Gotta get it to lay flat even to start with. That would be helpful. Okay. Yeah, I really enjoy looking at all the different things that you guys do, different areas of the country, different areas of the world. Influences are different. That's how we learn and grow and try new things. When we see something cool that somebody else has done, it inspires us to try something. So I'm not really worried about the gesso on here. All I want is coverage for the page. I'm not concerned that all the strokes go the same way or anything like that. But I do want the entire page to be covered. I probably should have gotten a larger. I do have a larger.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie.
Christy wants to know if the gesso and the primer are the same thing.
Pretty much. They really pretty much are. And I use them interchangeably. So,
Virginia said she's never, I never saw sharing screen in YouTube with several people on the same video. It's because we're in StreamYard. I think that's what she's saying. Right?
Who said that?
Virginia.
Okay. So Virginia, we have a subscription to a service called StreamYard, and we log into StreamYard first, and then tell StreamYard to send what we're doing, send our video live to YouTube. We can also send it to Facebook, which I did last week when we did that 15-minute video to show Debbie's folio. Wanted to make sure everybody saw it, so I sent it to Facebook and to YouTube. And by doing that, I can actually bring in up to 10 people, well, including me. So I guess that's bring in 9. So we do like to have members of the group have opportunity to come on and do different things with us, especially if there's something cool that you do, a cool technique. I love to have you come on and teach it with us. So if somebody is set up or wants to talk about how to get set up to be able to do something like this to come on with us, let me know. Just send me a private message, and I'll be happy to talk with you about that. So next Monday is June 6th, right? Yeah, and so that is the day that we are going to start making a journal, start to finish together. So anybody who has never made a journal before probably want to jump on that, do it with us. It's a whole lot easier doing it with somebody else step by step. But do that with us. And Sandy Rath is going to come on and make the junk journal with me. I say junk journal loosely because it can be whatever you want. I got a bunch of, I pulled off a bunch of the hard stuff around the edge of the primer bottle. And so now I'm seeing that probably little crumbles fell into it because I'm getting lots of little pieces of the hard crumble. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to give this a quick few strokes like this.
Christy, that's Candy's kitty. One of.
One of Candy's kitties.
April said she hears it and she's looking around.
Yeah, it's my oldest one. She's something else lately. 8. Well, she's probably almost 19 now.
So Candy shuts the door and she stands outside the door and we swear she's going, Mom, Mom.
I let her in. She wants right back out. So I've already done that. I've done that twice. I'm not letting her in again.
She just wants whatever she can't have.
Virginia said that she's curious about the magic. So I don't know if that was referring to the
magic.
StreamYard.
Oh, about being able to display more than one person. So when you saw me flip those screens there, there's 2 screens up there that have my name on them. And you saw me flip to make one the primary and the other one small. So I have 2 desks that are back to back. And one is where I work on primarily. And then the other one is where I do mixed media because I have it covered with vinyl and I don't worry about getting paint and things on it. Just totally covered with vinyl, and that is what it's for, is for mixed media. So I set up a camera. I'm going to put this up here to dry. I set up a camera on each one today. So it just required 2 computers, 2 cameras. And so I could do that first technique over there and then come do the second one here. And mostly because I didn't want to have to take the time in getting that cleaned up before starting this one. It's a whole lot easier. And the fact that if I'm working with a lot of Gesso and paint or something, I tend to make a mess. I won't deny it. But to me, that's half the fun. The mess. I don't like the cleaning up of the mess, but making the mess is the fun.
April, it's not on my YouTube channel. I'm declining at this time to get onto that. So it's on Marianne's.
Yep, it's here on Happy Paper People's YouTube channel.
Paper People.
And it was from Thursday. Debbie, can you see what the date is on Thursday? Do you have a calendar anywhere near you?
Yeah, just a second.
Okay. Right before our mass make.
I don't know what's wrong.
Live for about 12 minutes right before the mass make, so Debbie could show the folio. We announced. The title of it is something like announcing a fun new challenge or something like that.
Thursday was the 26th.
Okay, so the 26th. We showed the folio, announced the challenge, and then we left and then came right back in for the mass make live. So
Jenny's in Australia.
Oh, nice. We've got several in Australia now then. Diane's in Australia, Julie's in Australia, and now Jenny. Jenny, what part of Australia?
She said Rockhampton, Queensland.
Ooh, that is somewhere I would love to travel.
April, this is what it looks. It's sitting right here. This is what the video.
Here, let me.
What's going to be on the video.
Candy, make her full screen.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. All I'm doing is just
this is what it'll look like. So when you go to the video, that's what's on it.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
Sorry, my desk is a mess. Sorry.
Oh, it's not. It's cleaner than ours. Guys, it is absolutely gorgeous. It is. Debbie, do you want to just open one page? Give them a sneak peek.
Yeah, just a second here.
I'm telling you, you want to win this. I want to win it and I can't. It's not fair. And she has a whole pile of ephemera that she's going to give with it so that you can continue decorating it how you want.
Where's that?
She's done the primary. I should have buffed up this paper before I did the gesso down.
I don't know where the bag of ephemera is right at the moment, but
That's okay. It's a large bag of ephemera that she's sending with it.
okay. So I didn't decorate it very much. I just did a little bit, not like my normal stuff, but I just decorated a little tiny bit just to add to it. And then it's a folio as opposed to an album, and a folio is what folds over on itself. There are my hands. As opposed to a album which opens like a book, page after page. So here's a little open, the front cover. Here's an open.
Part of the reason she didn't completely decorate it is because we don't know if you want to use it as a photo album and actually put photos in there, or if you want to use it as a journal, or if you just want to keep it as an amazing piece of art that Debbie made. That is totally up to you.
There's a little quick. I think this one's my favorite right here.
I love that closure right there. That's my favorite closure.
So if anybody's into making folios, this came off of Shelly Geigel, YouTube. I followed, well, close to I followed her instructions.
No, you didn't. You did. It's okay.
I followed her instructions for the folio and some of the decorating, most of the decorating, but then I kind of like, I get off course real quick and start doing other things. So like I said, I didn't decorate it very much. So whoever wins it can do whatever they want, however they want to use it. So there was just a little quick blah, blah.
Yeah. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? So you definitely want to get into the drawing for that, for sure. So those who've never made a folio or an album like that before, but might like to, in June, we are going to make one on a Saturday Night Live. And I've asked Debbie to actually lead that. Saturday night.
We're not gonna make a folio like this one. We're just gonna make a really quick.
Yeah.
Anybody can do like in less than an hour.
It'll be a beginner folio, so don't worry. Yeah. Absolutely can do it. We've chosen one that everybody can do. Let's see. I'm waiting for this to dry a little bit, and I'm pulling out paint for the second phase of this. I started to do that earlier, and then got interrupted and never got it all out.
Thank you, everybody.
Is everybody saying how amazing and gorgeous it is?
Yeah.
Of course they are.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous.
It is. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous. How do you say? I can't talk like that. I can't do that accent. Gorgeous. Either way, it is absolutely gorgeous. Let's see here.
Thank you. Thank you.
This little rusty color.
And this is why I'm not very good at doing the junk journal stuff, because I like doing all the straight line stuff.
Well, I disagree with that.
That's why I struggle with the junk journal. How about that?
Mentally. She has amazing junk journals, but mentally, because she's always done the straight line albums and folios, it's hard. It's hard to go from one to the other. I love them both. So we're going to do both on this channel and in this group. And you can choose which ones you want to do, which one you don't ever have to do anything you don't want to do. But I've seen a couple junk journals Debbie's made that have been amazing. But here's the other thing. Who says that a junk journal can't have straight lines?
I was just going to say, but you notice that both of them were straight lines. There were very few half pages, torn pages, or
Yeah.
if they were torn pages, they were very straight lines.
Torn with a ruler. That's okay. Who says a junk journal has to be raggedy?
Laura said we should have a rectangle challenge to make pieces that lots of make the pieces with lots of straight lines.
Using rectangles to put something together.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you will all try this folio that we're going to make in June, because
Super, super fast and easy.
yeah, it's easy enough that everybody can do it. I've already made one, and even though it's super simple, everybody can make it. It's awesome. It is really awesome. It is not like, oh, it's super simple and it looks super simple. It looks kindergarten-y.
It's pretty. I used a digital download on mine. I'm going to make a second one for the live that's using Stamperia. I think Roses and Lace. I think that's what I got out. I don't remember.
Stamperia. I think it's Garden. Is it called Garden or something? Something. That's almost.
I don't think it was Garden. It's I can't remember now.
It has the word garden in it. Whatever it is, that's the Stamperia that I use for mine. So I'm going to pick a different Stamperia or Minte for the next one for the live. Okay, that one still needs another minute to dry, so I'm going to go over this a little bit. This being glossy didn't get as good of coverage because it didn't want to stick to everything quite as well.
Marcy said she's with me. She can do a clean junk journal.
Yep.
Is that an oxymoron? Yep.
Nope. No, I totally think junk journals have to be straight and clean. They do not have to be.
Julie said she can see why you can't do a junk journal with straight lines. And Julie sent us a picture of a paper that we'll show towards the end when we're getting ready to. Julie, I didn't want you to think we were ignoring you, but we're trying not to interrupt the flow of a tutorial, kind of, sort of. And then we'll show pictures. Laura said her quilt journal has lots of straight lines. Quilts are a great example of gorgeous. Of course they are. They're amazing. The more journals you see, the more different ways you see to do them. I just did one that was a box. And I have a engineering error on mine. But when you take off the top, it flaps open, and
that is the album.
That is the album, yeah.
It is so. Oh, she did that with lavender. I'm sorry, Provence. Yeah, Provence from Stamperia. Did you use any of the Minte Lavender Farm or not?
No, not Minte. I didn't have it yet. I used. There was another one that was Stamperia. Lavender flowers or violet or something
like
that. Yeah. I just used a couple pieces of that. I try to silly stuff, and I always run out of paper. I guess I don't follow directions.
We'll show you that one at some point, and it is a very in-depth one. It is so absolutely gorgeous. I mean, there's just no other word. It is a work of art. Absolutely.
There's 3 of us working on the same one together, and I did the folio. We all started. Mine's done because I have more time than the other 2 do. And the other 2 people are doing wedding albums. So when they're done, we're hoping that we can talk them into showing theirs.
Yes, before they get them away.
Yeah, they're turning out just amazing.
Okay, so here's the first piece of paper. Okay, there we go. The first one that I put the gesso down on, and it's pretty dry. There's a few spots here and there, but it's pretty dry.
Sheila said she's been doing a lot of folios lately. Thinking of doing a series of videos. Just need to build up my confidence. Oh, Sheila, I'll watch.
Cool. Oh, absolutely. I love folios too.
Do you already have your own YouTube channel, Sheila? Because I'll subscribe to it.
Yeah.
I'm that's my morning coffee, is watching videos on making this and folding this way and flipping things out. And Julie, do you ever look at oh, there's a lot of people out there that do flip outs on their stuff.
Lots of them.
Yeah, lots of them. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, this was a blue stencil, but all the
It was a piece of paper.
yeah, no, all the paint that's on it, all the metallics, all the different colors. I really like it. Now I don't want to clean it. It's very pretty. That's funny. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to want this stencil to stay still. So I'm going to use some washi tape that's sticky. Not all washi tape really is very sticky enough to hold it down with a little bit of pressure. So this one is. And I just have to say, a lot of people say, I don't like washi tape because it doesn't stick. It always comes up. Okay, people, washi tape is paper tape developed in Japan, and the point of it is to be removable, to move it around or to put it down and then remove it. So washi tape is not supposed to stick permanently.
Yeah, but some don't stick at all.
I have some that doesn't stick at all, some that's really old.
Right.
And if I want it to stick permanently on a project, I will always put some glue underneath it. But just know, if you're one of those people that have said, I don't like washi tape because it doesn't stick, just know that it's not supposed to stick. Okay, off my soapbox.
Sheila, I couldn't do it. I'm with Laura. I couldn't do it. I freeze up when I start talking sometimes. I did it the other Saturday night. I just kind of like, where's my words? And I'm supposed to be narrating for Candy and Glennis. And I like,
you did fine.
I went brain dead. A couple of
I had trouble too.
You guys did a great job Saturday night. That was super fun to watch. I totally enjoyed that. All right. I'm going to see if I've got one more brush.
Laura said she's glad her mom does videos for her journals. Everyone she does, she gets better and better, and they're just cool. I just love the last one she just did.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing, is some of us that are, a lot of us are like perfectionist type of people, and we don't want to do it until we're good at it, or, you know, everything is perfect and ready to go. But the thing is that you can't get that way unless or until you actually do it. So you just have to do it. You just have to start if you want to. Some people don't really have the desire to, so that's okay too. But you just have to start and do it, and just know that every time you do it, you're going to get better and better at it. And when you look back and look at your very first videos and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, rather than be embarrassed about them, it's like, oh my gosh, look how far I've come. You know, look how much I have improved. Because if you hadn't improved, then that's what would be awful.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to do two different techniques on this one, hopefully. And
Deb said she sent pictures to the group too, so
okay.
We can see those.
So the first thing we did was gesso our paper completely, and now I chose a stencil to put down, and then I need to choose some colors, and I'm going to stencil ink on this stencil onto the gesso. I used this piece of paper as my inspiration with these butterflies. It's a kind of couple shades of blue, and there's some rusty orange and a couple different shades of yellow. I just really like it. I just like this page. It's so fun to look at. So I thought, well, that would be good inspiration. So I don't really know what colors are going to work. I grabbed speckled egg and broken china, and then I grabbed rusty hinge and fossilized amber and wild honey. And I got them all in the distress rather than the regular ink, because the distress, I'm sorry, not in distress, in the oxide. I got them all out in the distress oxide rather than the distress ink, because the oxide, excuse me, hiccup and a burp at the same time. The oxide gives you a little bit softer look to it. So now I just need to kind of decide what I want to start with and move out to. Do I want to start with blue in the center and move out to the other colors, or do I want to start with the darker rust and move out to the blue, or maybe go from one to the other? So I'm just going to put that there for kind of inspiration, and I'm going to just start. I only have a couple of brushes here, but this one brush, I'm going to use all of these with the same brush, and I'll grab one of these others when I'm doing some blue. So I'm just going to start in the center here and get some of this rusty color. Now, the key to making this work and looking like a nice ombre is to overlap the colors. If you do just this color in here, and you notice I'm going outside of the lines, and that's purposeful. If you do just this color in here, and then you do the next section another color, it's going to be pretty. And if that's what you want, then that's how you want to do it. But you're going to have a line, you know, this, and then this, and then this, and there'll be a line. If you want them to blend together and kind of ombre out, then you need to overlap the colors. So let's see, that's fossilized amber. Well, I can't remember which one's more yellow, fossilized amber or wild honey. I think maybe wild honey is. So I'm going to take this fossilized amber, and I'm blending it into the center is really just the rust. And if in the end I think that needs to be a little darker, I can come back and do that. Then I take the fossilized amber and I'm blending it into the rusty hinge and going out a little farther so that it is only the fossilized amber out there. Excuse me. Trying to hurry so we have time for the next one as well. Okay, so then I will take the wild honey. I might have done these backwards according to color. I don't even remember. That might be really close. Okay, and I'm going to overlap the fossilized amber and then take it out a little farther as well. Okay, so the overlap makes them blend together, so it's a seamless transition. That's when you get that ombre look, that ombre effect. And if you want to use the ink, and you can use any ink on this, any ink at all. I like the oxide because it's going to give a little bit softer look. But if you want to use the ink, you're going to get a little bit, probably a little bit darker, clearer look, not so, you know, soft and muted. I'm going to get
Thank you, Miss Toby. Thank you, Glennis.
Okay. All right, so I've got the rusty hinge to the fossilized amber to the wild honey, and now I'm going to do blue. So first I'm going to do speckled egg. This is where I need a big one. Okay, so first I'm going to do speckled egg, and I'm going to mix that some with that wild honey and then take it out. I could have just probably rubbed that off on my towel. So a little overlap for transition and then taking it out on its own. This makes my shoulder tired. I have never used these this color combination, so I'm kind of excited to see it, and I hope I'm not horrified.
Horrified.
So it'll be a reveal to me as much as you. And if it works well, I'll do the same color combination with the other technique. If it doesn't, I'll use a different one. Okay. Okay, and so then we get a little bit more out here. Then I'm going to go a little bit darker blue because I noticed in this paper there are a couple of different shades of blue. A little lighter, like that robin's egg, and then a little darker. So I'm using broken china. I didn't want to go really dark. Woo! That's a pretty teal. That will mute up a little bit though as it gets blended a little bit with that robin's egg.
Okay. Almost
What was the last color you used?
A robin's egg, and then broken china is the one I'm using right now. So why do this and why use these colors? Well, if this is a piece of paper that I'm planning to use in a journal or to make ephemera or something out of, and I use that color palette to alter this ugly paper, now I can take this paper and use it in that same journal, and that color palette is going to be carried through. I know that it's going to match color-wise. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it's still the same palette. It is going to match. So you can look at a journal you're going to do and say, what colors am I going to be using in that? Maybe you want them super soft and light. Maybe you just want to use like vintage photo. What is the pink, the vintage pink one that I love? I love that with the vintage photo. Victorian pink, maybe?
Victorian, I don't have them all out.
Some really soft background colors, or you can do something that's a little more bold. I don't know if this piece of paper is going to stay a whole piece of paper, or if I'm going to end up cutting it up. I don't know. That I probably won't decide until I go to use it. But either way, I know that the color palette, let's see, I'm going to blend this just a little bit more right there.
Velvet. It's Victorian velvet.
Victorian velvet. That's it. I love Victorian velvet and vintage photo together. They make an amazing combination. Okay, ready to see it? Oh, I'm kind of scared. I'm just a wee bit scared. Don't know what we're going to get, but it's also exciting. All right. So I'm going to just pull that.
That's pretty. Very pretty.
That's not bad. Okay, so then I could take, I don't have the vintage photo right here, but I could take vintage photo. I'm going to use this rusty over here, or any one of these colors, anything else, and I could go around and do the edge. I could use a clean brush too. And not only the edge, but I could come all the way up here and make it ombre from darker in the corner to light up nearer. And then just do the edges along here.
Margie said that's worth a sore arm.
Yeah, thanks. I don't like these brushes for edging. I like these brushes for stencils. But for edging, I'd much rather use a blender tool.
Jenny said pretty. April said pretty.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I just love that color combination with those butterflies. So I thought, well, worth a try to see if we can get something cool out of that. Then they can be used together. Okay, what do you think after doing the edges and the corners? Because I don't really want this white gesso to stick out. And so basically covering the gesso and just giving it a little bit of accent, that dark framing kind of thing.
Virginie said she's excited to see the reveal when lifting up the stencil. She said virtual hug.
Aw, thank you. So now I look at it and I'm thinking I could have gone even darker in the center, and I could put the stencil back down and go a little bit darker in the center, which give it a little bit more contrast. But I like this. This is a beautiful way to use mandalas or big doily prints, things like that. That's
Toby said it looks like an Italian tile, and you know what? It looks like what's the blue? The blue that has all the tiles in it. The blue Stamperia paper with all the blue tiles in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then what's the new one? Casa, whatever. Didn't that one just have tiles in
it? Mm-hmm. Add a little bit more of a cranberry or pomegranate color, and it would go with Casa Granada. Okay, so if you wanted to use this in a book,
bye, Jenny.
I would take this stencil and I would just do some stencil with some light, like vintage photo, just to give it a little bit of background there. Maybe a little bit of the yellow in it. And you can leave this page whole.
My book pages are typically 8.5 by 11. That would be the largest. Not the largest. If I use a larger cover, it's going to be larger, obviously. But I don't typically make books that are 12 inches. So I could take this and fold it up right here, and then fold it in half. And here is a page. Boy, that would make a great cover, wouldn't it?
Yep.
You seal that up, and that would make a beautiful cover.
That's gorgeous.
Wow. Okay, but if this is a page in a book or even a cover for a signature in a book, then when I open it, I haven't lost any of the page. There's an automatic pocket built in just by the page, and I don't have to worry about decorating the pocket because it's already got the design on it. So
Virginia said the outside makes a whole different picture.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so that's one technique. So let me hurry so we can get to the other.
Yeah, around 20 minutes left.
20 minutes. Okay. Yeah, we can do this in 20 minutes. This one I gave a second coat of gesso because it wasn't covering that dark green. So I'm hoping that I'm going to do this. Let's see if there's anything wet. Hopefully it'll just come off on that vinyl. Yeah, get a little bit of color on it. That's okay. Okay. Well, I used the same color palette on this one. Different technique. I think maybe I will. Give me just a second. I'm just grabbing another baby wipe. Or, here we go. I think I'm going to use the same kind of color palette just to see how different it looks. If it looks different with this different technique. So this technique is not using ink. This one is using paint. Brand of paint doesn't matter. Any paint. Let me get all the inks out of the way. Okay, so I've got a blue and a yellow, and I'll bring our inspiration paper back over here. An orange, because it kind of goes yellow, orange, but then there's a little bit of rust in there. I didn't have time to dig for a rusty paint, so I grabbed Cookie, which is kind of a brownish, and I grabbed some burgundy, figuring I could mix those two and I might get a little bit of kind of sort of rust color there. So again, never used these paint palettes, so I'm excited to see what we can get out of this one. So I just left the top taped, so let's see if we can get this one underneath it in exactly the right place. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to tape it down again. And when you tape it down, just be sure not to cover any of the holes of the stencil. Otherwise, you'll have a missing piece of color. Okay. Doesn't lay exactly flat anymore because I've got so much paint buildup on it. Is that the back side? Oh no, that's just because I did this color, the stamps over it, or the ink over it. Okay, well, let me put the top on the primer so it doesn't all dry out. I'm so excited about moving from one thing to the next that, this is kind of rusty. Brick red. Maybe we'll try that one. All right, so shall we do the same where we started with the dark in the center and moved out? Then we have some dark around the borders. Let's try this brick red and see if that is at all close to. No. All right. Did I grab more than one? I'll have to go around over the other side and grab another stipple brush so we don't just have brick red and the blue from the beginning. Okay. So this is it's brick red, but it's not, it's a dark brick. It is kind of rusty. I like that. is kind of a color I was hoping for with the ink, and maybe I just didn't go dark enough on it. Or maybe I needed another color with it to make it a little bit darker. Okay, and then let's see, a little bit of this orange. It's a soft orange. It's called just orange. I mean, it's just called orange, but it kind of looks like, I don't know, what is that? Maybe pumpkin something. It's not like a bright in your face orange, which is kind of what I think of. So guys, as soon as we're done here, there is a tutorial on the channel. It's not going to post until we're done. It's already scheduled to go then, showing these two techniques, and without taking 2 hours to do it. And I used a different stencil, and I used a different color palette. If you want to be able to look at it again and be able to start and stop it, pause it, you know, however you want, I'd recommend that you go watch that. I like tutorials because I can pause them while I do something and then go on and listen to them. Now stop them while I, try something else, and where you can't do that on the live. Okay, now we're moving to a brighter yellow that's going to be mixed a little bit with the orange and then out there on its own. So that will post right here as soon as we're done. So at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. So Virginie, what time is it in India? And what city are you in India, by the way? Get in between all these little lines right here. I may be going underneath a little bit with this stippling brush. Get a little more yellow out here. The orange and the yellow mix together and just make a different color orange. I should have grabbed a different brush for the yellow. I'm going to try to put, this is saffron. These are Stamperia Allegro paints. I really like them. And I have a whole series of the colors now in stock. So I'm going to be putting them up in my Etsy shop. They're not expensive. They are so creamy. I just love the way they work because they're so nice and creamy. If you're interested in those,
what time and what day are you?
we've had these at our sale before, but I didn't plan to bring them out at the sale, right? Anytime in the super near future. So I think I'll just put them up in the Etsy shop. So if anybody's interested, then go there. Okay, so we went out to that yellow, that saffron. Oh, saffron is such a pretty color. All right, now let's try this blue. This is Indian turquoise. Oh, love, love, love this one. There are a variety of turquoises in the Stamperia paint. I don't want to do it with this same one. So, I'll try this one. I don't typically like these brushes. I'm going to try stippling. I'm going to stipple with a brush. That's with a blending brush. It might work. We'll find out. Okay, a little bit of mix with that saffron and then out there on its own. You know what? I think here's a tip I almost forgot about. When, like this one, if I mix this blue with that yellow, I'm going to get a real green. And I want the blue. I want the true blue color to show. So I'm going to go all the way around and do the part on the very outside that I want blue. And then, oops, hang on, gotta get over there and turn that up. I forgot that our 10-minute warning would go on. There we go. So I'm going to do the blue all the way around the outside so I can get the true color. And then I will go back and I will go in so that I'm overlapping with that yellow and can just hit that once for that transition. But if I do that first, then when I move out to this blue, it's all going to be green. I'm not going to get any of this true color. And I really want this true. turquoise.
Jenny said it's 1:20 a.m. and she's in Bangalore,
Oh,
the south
okay.
part of India. It's a huge city with 12 million people, and
Yes.
like the Silicon Valley of India, all IT companies.
Oh, cool. Okay, so it's 1:20 a.m. on Tuesday morning, Monday night, Tuesday morning. Is that correct? Okay, so now I'm going to overlap these, and so that will go from turquoise to kind of a greenish turquoise, which will give it the transition. This isn't working too bad, actually. This little brush. I thought I really wouldn't like it for this at all.
Gigi says she needs to invest in 12 by 12 stencils. Only have one. Just saying, I'm loving this process.
Nice.
Virginia said it's Tuesday now.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for staying up to join us, Virginia.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, love that. So happy, excited. It'll be a little earlier. Let's see. No, it's even later. Probably Saturday Night Live will be Sunday for you, so that won't be so late. Thursday's mass make is at 2 o'clock, so it's 2 hours later than this, so that's middle of the night. Ugh.
She said saffron is a great taste too. You're talking my
Yes.
language.
Yes. I love using saffron in paella. That's one of my favorites. Okay, so what I see with this is, let me move this so I don't just get paint all over the back. I think I would love to have had a little more yellow. I've got good transition of colors, but you don't really see the saffron because when the orange blended with it, it turned it into a yellow orange. And I really miss that saffron color. So I might even, let's see if I can clean this off a bit, even on the table here. I'm just going to play with this a second. We've got only about probably 5 or 7 minutes left. Let's see what color is on that one. What's that one? Okay. I'm going to take this a different one for the yellow. Because I really like that saffron with it. Now, this may totally ruin it. I mean, because there's not much of this color. There isn't any of this color that shows in the pattern. And if it does, I can always go over it with the orange or the Indian turquoise. So, but I want to see if there's a way for me to get a little more of that saffron color. Oh, saffron is awesome. I love using that in my paella and some curries. Love curry. Oh my goodness, that sounds. I haven't eaten yet today. Can you tell? That sounds really good. Indian curry, not Indian curry, pumpkin curry. I was just thinking. I have this favorite little hole in the wall place, and they make a pumpkin curry that is to die for. Okay, let's see if I can get some of this off of the edge. Okay, so I'll come back and just mix that a little bit. I might need to use a little bit of orange on that just to soften it up, maybe after it's dry. Here's the other thing, guys. If you're not sure that you're crazy about it, don't destroy it. Let it dry first. I am always blown away by how much things change when they dry, especially gel prints. Gel prints change a lot when they dry. There's a lot of times I'm like, oh, I don't really like that. By the time it dries, it really is very different.
Julie said she'd spritz it with water and then mop up with paper.
I might do that. But first, I want to see how that looks as a frame when I get through all of this. Just a little bit of that as a frame. And I might just need to take this in a little tighter so that the yellow is a smaller portion of it. But now, so I've got the green transition, and now I'm going to give more of that turquoise right in the corner. Then I'm going to blend it a little bit, but I want to get the true color of turquoise right in the corner. That's why I'm just kind of blobbing it there and moving on. Okay, so now I could go back and blend that just a little where they meet. Too much turquoise on there. Not working. Okay. So that it's more of that green, but I still get that true turquoise in the corner. Because I want that. Yeah, last time we did that impromptu when I was doing some gel prints, there were some that I didn't necessarily like, and I waited till the next day when they completely dried. I looked at them and thought, they really changed. They really changed a lot. Okay. All right, so that's a better ombre effect in the corner. The color is still pretty.
Toby said beautiful, beautiful colors. Jenny said that she would definitely use color on the top of the stencil.
So here's how we get a more muted mix. Take a dry brush and go back and keep sticking my finger in the paint. Take a dry brush and go back and go over the yellow, the saffron, and where the saffron and the blue mix, which is green. Going over that with a dry brush, it mutes it up and gives you more of that oxide ink look, more muted.
Gigi said this process is also a great way to use more of her ink. She's got quite a few.
Yes. And it's a great way to use all that paper that we're not using just because we don't like it or we don't have a, there's some papers that I really like. They're very pretty, but I don't ever do projects in those colors. So, okay. So, I don't know. Can you see the color, the corners? They're kind of muted now, blending from one to the other in a more muted manner. When they dry, they will be even more muted and blended.
Hi, Margalo. She said, hi, friends. I'm going to be listening and lurking when possible, cleaning out my Monica closet at school, taking advantage of no children here today.
Cool. Haven't seen you in a while, Margalo. It's good to see you. Okay, so that is doing it with paint, and this is doing it with ink. So the same color palette, the paint is obviously going to be more intense because it's wet. As it dries, it will soften up a little bit, but it's still going to be more intense because it's paint. I'm going to show you another one.
Margie said the center has a 3D effect, and Dawn said she thinks it turned out beautiful, and you're down to about 2 minutes. Here's
one that I did on an 8.5 by 11, still using a 12-inch stencil, different stencil, but very, very similar type of pattern. And you can see the ombre. It's now dry, so it looks very different to me than when it was wet. But there's 4 colors. I think there was 4. But when you blend them out in the ombre, you actually end up with one color here, and then you've got the next color, but then you've got an in-between color that they get from mixing. Then you've got that second color and the third color and an in-between color that they get from mixing. And then the third one and the fourth one, and then the in-between they get from mixing. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You really end up, if you wanted to look at it specifically, 7 colors because of the mixes in between. But we don't really see them as colors. It would be hard for somebody to pick out the individual colors other than what starts in the middle and maybe what ends at the outside. Because from that point on, it's ombreing all the way. And so you want that nice blend. That blend that doesn't show where it starts or stops. It just it's you can start to make it look like the printed fabric with that ombre. So I like this color palette.
You're wow. Virginia said, love the dried brush.
Yes.
Gorgeous result. Dawn said, wow.
Thanks, guys. So this palette is one of my favorites because it's like sunset colors or sunrise colors. And so I love even using on the page, using a stencil that will go in a half manner. And you know how you can get that with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and any 12, you don't need a sunrise or a sunset, any 12-inch stencil, you put the center of the stencil at the bottom of the paper. And so then when you do that, and you start with the red in the center and you move out to the orange and the pink and the green, or let's say I go red, pink, orange, yellow. That's a green. That's funny. When you do that, then you end up with that same ombre, but starting from the dark out, but it goes like this, and it's only in the half shape. You can get the effect of a sunrise or a sunset. So that's an easy thing to do if you wanted a page to have a sunrise or sunset behind it. It's essentially that. If you're only seeing, but it would be much larger than that because it would start down here and cover the whole page. You see, you don't get all the tops of the points up here, but that's what you have: the red to the pink to the orange to the yellow. So that is absolutely one of my favorite combinations.
Awesome.
To ombre. This is what I used: bright red, raspberry, orange, and saffron is what I used for that. And we've got all the same in inks as well. So yeah, so it's fun to see how you can do the same thing and it's so different. You know, doing it with ink or with paint or even with a combination. So hope you had some fun today. Hope you got a couple of new ideas. I know it's hard to work along with something like this, so I'm hoping that you'll maybe pull the tutorial up and pull out your own unusable papers along with the tutorial, because it's much shorter, and go through the tutorial while you're doing yours so you can start and stop it, and try that out. And please put the pictures of your altered paper in the Happy Paper People Facebook group. We really love seeing those because we all do it a little bit differently, and it's just so inspiring to see everybody else's. So please do post them. But try this because we want you to use up that paper that's just sitting there that we're not using. We need to make space for all the other things that you keep getting or you want to use. This just kind of weighs me down when I keep moving them around and they don't ever get used. It just weighs me down. So it makes me excited to pull them out and use them, and now I can actually use them to do something. So what is today? Today is Monday. Thursday is Mass Make at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, and I know what I want to do on Thursday, but I haven't asked the person if they would be willing to lead it, because I think that it would be fun to have her lead it. So I'm going to check with her first before I tell you. But watch for Thursday. The item for Thursday is a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun, and it's super easy, and you'll just need 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. It would work with paper or cardstock, but paper is fine. I would probably use double-sided if I had it. If you don't have double-sided, just flip it over, put a stencil on it, grab some vintage photo or walnut or just any soft color that you like. Go through the stencil, and it breaks the white page and gives you just a little bit of pattern. But yeah, that would be perfect. That would be plenty on that. So 12 by 12 paper, you'll need a paper cutter to cut it in half or a pair of scissors. And let's see, you probably need a little bit of glue. You'll use a paper trimmer throughout or scissors and a little bit of glue. And it's a super easy one and a lot of fun. So we'll see you all on Thursday then for Mass Make. Thanks for coming. It's great to meet all the new people. We appreciate you jumping right in. Because it's fun. It's fun. We have a great time. So we'll see y'all in the group. Thanks for coming along and seeing us today.
Love you, time.
Bye. Bye.